Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Thursday to you, and we're taking another look here at Pepe, seeing what's going on. Got a lot of requests for just keeping consistent with this coin, which I perfectly understand. We are testing that support range, well, traveling well within it rather, testing that previous reset, that previous high, basically. It was a resistance level, turned support. We're going to see if that support level is going to hold. And we're also going to look at some Bollinger Bands and obviously some Elliott wave theory as well. Kind of see what's going on, if there's any potential proof here in the pudding, as they would say, that the price is going to bounce or if we're going to see further downside. Okay. So if you're new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I really love to teach people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. CryptoCash.tech is a site if you want to become a better trader. Also ask, just quick favor if you could, help us grow our Twitter community here, of course. Like, follow, retweet for a chance to be able to become one of our community members there. We give monthly giveaways here, of course. Be sure to check that out. And obviously, tons of fundamental technical data, things that are super relevant, super important to know, that I would like for you to obviously check out as well. So enable alerts so you can kind of stay abreast on those things too. All right, so let's take a quick look here at Pepe and kind of see what's going on. Well, on the daily, which I like to take a look at first, we got some positive and some neutral. And what I mean by that here is positive. Stochastic RSI is coming down to effectively potentially converge here. Now, this is a very positive sign, but typically I like to wait for confirmation here on the daily in order for that to occur. It hasn't happened yet, but with it hitting that bottom, that low point, it means we've dropped very hard, very fast, and that there should be some type of recovery. Again, meme coins are getting hard right now. Altcoins are getting hit hard. Everything is too. Bitcoin's on the edge of disaster for the moment at 27,000. So you got to expect Bitcoin loses bottom. This one will too, because profits are going to be taken. It's just kind of the way that it goes. All right. Again, there's a lot of other market movers that have way more money than we do that are buying and controlling coins like this, right? So keep that in mind. You got to recognize greed is a very powerful thing. If you understand what they're thinking, you can kind of get a leg up, right? But the bottom line here is that if we see, but based on the last 14 traded days, we've got a tremendous amount of money flowing out of this coin. Okay, that just implies there's a lot of selling pressure. Furthermore, too, we're above 50 on the RSI, which is positive, but not great either, because unless we can bounce here off this level, we're really not going to be able to see too much from this coin moving forward. At least it may not be able to sustain its current price point. We need to basically hold this level for a while. Now we've got the last 4-hour candlesticks working its way down. Pretty significant drop if you ask me. What that's like, almost 20% drop in just less than a full trading day, almost a half a trading day. So that's not really great. Okay, obviously it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but that is effectively a negative, disadvantageous thing to see that. Now, how does that reflect on the price action? Well, if we see here, we're getting closer towards 30 as well. We haven't hit it yet though. Okay, with us up being under 50, we're generally bearish, so I wouldn't expect any parabolic moves moving forward. In fact, it's pretty unlikely considering the fact that it had its run already. If you look back at most meme coin histories, majority of them had their day in the sun, right? And then inevitably 364 days of rain. So there's a lot of potential reality here of the fact that the price action should stay lower and continue lower over the next coming days. Another pump up wouldn't make a tremendous amount of sense. Just please understand that this is all based on statistical data, not personal feelings. Okay, take feelings out of it. You never ever trade with emotion. Super easy to say we're emotional beings, but it's just something you need to know. All right. Anyways, that being said, 4-hour time frame looks kind of neutral in a sense, but more so bearish because we're underneath those specific resistance levels. We can still see we're still diverging. We're starting to gain momentum to the downside, and you kind of ask yourself, well, you can only diverge for so long. No, in truth, you can diverge for a very long time. So please keep in mind, just because it's been doing so for quite a few days, just say 5 or 6 days, there's no proof that it's going to stop because of that one thing, right? So that really does imply that we do have further potential downside. While our Bollinger Bands are telling us we're getting closer to that percentile there and we're being overextended to the downside, we're still not at the bottom. And to me, the bottom would be hitting closer to 30 on the RSI on the 4-hour. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Furthermore, too, if we take a look at some simple moving averages, we're below the 50 and the 20. So it's important to recognize that the 20 is a trendsetter, okay? So the first break to the upside, if you will, if we're going to have any potential leg up or leg to stand on, is to see the 20-day set moving average getting broken. Okay, we're a ways off from that, but if we can somehow work our way up above that, that's a step number one. Step number two, of course, getting above the 50 after using the 20 as a potential support and continue higher. It's really common for the price to break through a resistance level, retest as a support and continue higher. Is that going to happen? We truly don't know until we get there. We need a lot more volume at this point, and we're not seeing it. I know it seems crazy that we have a lot of volume right now, but money is flowing out of this coin faster than it's coming in based on the money flow index. And if you can kind of anticipate that, then you can kind of get ahead of it. So simply put, it doesn't look like there's a lot of potential for the price to shoot up anytime soon. But once again, we are testing that support level, right? This is a previous resistance level. So if you can kind of see this here, previous resistance, price wakes up to what, just say 150,000 is a round number. Comes down, comes up, wicks up, hits that range once more. Comes down, comes up, breaks through, and doesn't look back, okay? So you got to keep in mind, that provides us with a support level being a previous resistance. Now, is that going to hold? Is there any guarantees? No, not necessarily, because this previous support level right there at about what I think it was 180 didn't hold at all. I mean, technically it did for about a 5 or 6 candles, but once we broke below that, we closed soundly below it. Okay, so we got to recognize that that 180 will be a resistance level for us. In fact, we can see that reflected here as well on the Fibonacci retracement level, the 0.618 level. What do you know? Big coincidence, strong resistance area right there. Okay, so if the price does continue higher, please recognize that 180 will probably be a strong resistance level initially, and we'll probably have to retest that a few times. So it could work out to a cup and handle. You never truly know, but that's a very common characteristic in situations like this. So I'm going to be paying attention to that, kind of seeing what's going on regardless. But that being said, it's not fantastic here, okay? So we can kind of disseminate that on the daily and the 4 hour, we're kind of neutral bearish, right? On the hourly here, let's see if we have any overextension. We do. We did hit a 9 on TD sequential, kind of telling us that we are overextended to the downside, which is positive in a sense because we're hitting our tentative bottom. We're overextending ourselves into that potential support level, okay? So that's usually a positive sign. But if the price cannot recover and come up at least in a little bit here, at least establish higher lows, then we're not going to be able to have a leg to stand on. Because you can kind of see this consistent behavior, right? We're seeing lower lows and lower highs. The first step to break that is to see higher lows first, okay? Because we can't expect the price just to go up here and create a higher high, right? It has to establish higher lows first and continue to work its way up. So to me right now at this point, the 4 hour daily and the 1 hour still look more bearish than bullish. I wouldn't say we should expect further downside, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get kind of stuck and range bound in this range, this support range between just say round number 150 into 180. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. That being said, when is this going to change, change direction? Well, in truth, until we get back up above the cloud, which we haven't seen in quite a while, it's been roughly, 5 trading days since we've been above the cloud, there's no leg to stand on at this point. This is basically just screaming to us that a bearish divergence is still continuing. In other words, we're free and clear of the price action. If this intersects, we might have a potential leg to stand on. The conversion line is below the baseline. That tells us we have momentum to the downside. This downtrend could continue. We're also well below the cloud. So until we can close, once again, above 180 in roughly 24 hours from now, we're not going to be in very good shape. Okay. Now, it's not to say that the price isn't going to stay sideways for some time and then inevitably break to the upside. That is potential. We'll learn that in time. But for right now, this indicator that's a very conservative indicator is telling us to leave our short position open if you have one. That to me is confirmation we do not take a long yet. All right, so just please understand there's not a lot of reasons to take a long. Obviously, if you're a buy the dip kind of person and you are dollar cost averaging, different story. This seems like a good value. Once again, perspectives can change over time, and right now we can see the trend is not our friend. Unless you're shorting, obviously. Okay, so be sure to use MXT Global, one of our affiliates, of course, if you want to do that. They have a good option for shorting this coin, as well as a few other exchanges as well, too. And obviously, if you can, help us grow our Twitter community here. Really awesome to kind of be part of this, to interact with all of our members here. It's a great medium for you and for us, too. So just quickly note here, we do have a poll that we ran. And it looks like out of 30 votes here, 73% of you think we're going to test 25,000 for Bitcoin. And I would kind of agree with that. Bitcoin's looking very, very weak right now. So if that happens, just know this coin, regardless of how awesome and great you think it is, it's aligning itself with Bitcoin over the last 24 to 48 hours. Its alignment with Bitcoin implies that it's lost its trend and it's no longer going to go parabolic or just continue up to the moon, right? I know we all like to joke about that, but reality is a stark reality, or I don't know how the hell I want to describe that, but the bottom line, the truth hurts, right? And in this sense here, the truth is that there's more potential for downside than upside in the overall sense of things, especially if and when Bitcoin drops its bottom, because Bitcoin is looking pretty bad. It's not looking great. All right, we've retested this support level for a lot of different days, and it would make sense for the price to come down and potentially bounce off 25,000, but we never truly know until we get there. So just please understand that there's a lot more going on than just how much you may like or dislike this coin, right? Obviously, you like the coin if you're watching this, I would imagine, or you're invested one way or the other. But simply put, that's all I have to say. I hope this makes sense for you. There's a great chance we're going to be range bound in summary between 150 and 180. I would look for a closure above 180 to have any legs to stand on, but initially we need to establish higher lows first, which we haven't seen in quite some time. Okay? I hope this works out well for you. I hope you be safe, and thanks again for watching. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Take care.